including a colonel, were killed in a violent face-off on Monday night with Chinese troops at Galwan Valley in Ladakh, government sources told, in the most serious escalation at the border in 5 decades, at a time soldiers of both sides were in progress of disengagement. More than 43 Chinese soldiers have been killed or seriously injured, reported news agency ANI quoting sources. India said the clashes happened as a result of an attempt by the Chinese side to unilaterally change the status quo there, rebuting China's claims that Indian soldiers crossed the border. This is the first fatal clash since 1975 between India and China, who fought a border war in 1962. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held meetings with Home Minister Amit Shah and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh met with military chiefs twice as India discussed a response to the huge development. India said the clash arose from an attempt by the Chinese side to unilaterally change the status quo on the border. India is very clear that all its activities are always within the Indian side of the line of actual control. We expect the same of the Chinese side, said Foreign Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastav. Colonel B. Santosh Babu of the Bihar Regiment, Halvinder Palani and Sipoy Ojha are three of the names confirmed by the army. Senior military officials of the two sides are currently meeting at the venue to defuse the situation, the army statement said. The soldiers were not shot but were killed in a physical fight on Indian territory that involved stones and no firing, no firearms were used. It was violent hand-to-hand scuffles. The clash took place just as Chinese troops were getting ready to move away from a location per an agreement. The colonel was reportedly assaulted with stones and Indian soldiers retaliated, which led to close unarmed combat for several hours. The soldiers disengaged after midnight. China has been upset about the Indian construction of roads and airstrips in the area. The government has pushed for improving connectivity, and by 2022, 66 key roads along the Chinese border will have been built. One of these roads is near the Galwan Valley that connects to Daulat Beg Oldie Air Base, which was inaugurated last October. Chinese military spokesperson Colonel Zhang Xiuli on Tuesday claimed China always owns sovereignty of the Galwan Valley region. Federal authorities will review local investigations into the hanging deaths of two black men in Southern California to determine whether federal law was violated, officials said Monday. Local authorities have said there is no evidence of foul play in the deaths of Robert Fuller in Palmdale and Malcolm Harsh in Victorville, and early indications point both to suicide, but sheriffs have pledged to continue to investigate the cases. Monday's announcement follows weekend protests which were prompted by the initial determination of suicide as the likely cause of death for Fuller. People who participated in the town hall hosted by Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva on Monday also voiced concern that Fuller and Harsh may have been lynched. The callers denounced what they described as a rush to judgment and urged investigators to look into the possibility that hate crimes were committed. The FBI, U.S. Attorney Office in the Central District of California, and the U.S. Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division are monitoring the investigation of the Los Angeles County and San Bernardino County Sheriffs, authorities said in a statement. The city of Palmdale issued a statement supporting an independent inquiry, and three elected officials urged California Attorney General Xavier Becerra to lead the probe. Becerra said for now his investigators will just support the sheriff's department, though we also have the ability to do it on our own if necessary. Fuller's body was discovered around 3:30 a.m. Wednesday in a park near City Hall. An autopsy was conducted Friday and the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner Coroner's Office said the 24-year-old man appeared to have died by suicide. The finding prompted outcry by his family, who believed he wasn't suicidal, and community members who called for an independent investigation and autopsy. More than 1,000 people turned out for a protest and memorial on Saturday around the tree where Fuller's body was found about 40 miles north of Los Angeles. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden has announced that he will be joined by his friend and former US President Barack Obama for the first virtual fundraiser next week. Biden's campaign announced the reunion of Obama and his former vice president for the fundraiser will be a week from Tuesday. In a tweet, Biden announced that his former boss Obama would join him next week. The tweet came hours after the former vice president announced to have raised US $80.8 million in the month of May for his campaign war chest. The event plans to target tens of thousands of small dollar donors. The most important election of our lifetimes is just around the corner. In November, we have the chance to rebuild our economy so that it works for everyone. We have the chance to recover everybody with health insurance. The former president officially endorsed Biden in April after Senator Bernie Sanders, Biden's last serious competitor, dropped out, and through his support behind the former Delaware senator. We have the chance to declare that no matter what we look like, where we come from, or who we love, all of us are equal and each of us should have the chance to make of our lives what we will. This is a critical moment in our history, and we need Americans of all backgrounds and political strips to join together and fight to create a more just, more generous, more democratic America, where everybody has a fair shot at opportunity. The fundraiser hosted by Warren was sold out and brought in US $6 million, the most successful fundraiser the Biden Victory Fund has ever had. In his remark, Biden addressed systemic racism facing the country and asserted that a disproportionate number of black and brown communities were dying from coronavirus. Biden went on to criticize President Donald Trump's role in rolling back civil rights protections, calling him out by name and his contribution to the country's current economic state. Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa on Tuesday said he would request Prime Minister Narendra Modi for more relaxations, as he made it clear that COVID-19 lockdown measures were not required in the state anymore. The lockdown is not required for Karnataka. We will request for more relaxations, Yediyurappa said in response to a question about video conferencing with the Prime Minister. Speaking to reporters, he said, "I will request PM to make way for people to lead a normal life and for the improvement in the economic situation. Several services such as metro, theaters, bars, among others, to continue to remain restricted under Unlock 1 that is currently in place." Modi is scheduled to hold a video conference with chief ministers of various states on Tuesday and Wednesday. Yediyurappa is scheduled to take part in the video conferencing on Wednesday. The chief minister, who took part in the social puja organized at Shankar Math to pray for the COVID control, said the government was making all efforts to control the spread. We are taking strong measures and all of us should fight this together. He highlighted that the government has released the financial assistance amount that was announced for farmers and was ensuring that it reaches them. The Shiv Sena on Tuesday took a dim view of ally Congress's complaints about being ignored in the Maha Vikas Aghadi powers sharing setup and asserted that there was nothing to worry about the stability of the ruling alliance. An editorial in Sena mouthpiece Samna said resentment is bound to happen in a political setup of parties with different ideologies, but no one should have the false notion that the MBA government will collapse and the gates of Raj Bhavan will be opened for them early morning once again. Of late, the Congress has been making a pitch for having a say in the key decision-making process and inclusion in important meetings of the state government. According to a Congress leader, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has been holding talks with NCP Chief Sharad Pawar on various issues including the COVID-19 pandemic and relief for people affected by Cyclone Nisarg. This has created a feeling that the state Congress is being left out. The Congress has also urged Thackeray to hold a meeting of the three ruling parties at the earliest to finalize the name of 12 members for their nomination to the State Legislative Council. Terming the Congress as the third pillar of the alliance, the Samna claimed that the Shiv Sena has sacrificed the most in the triplet setup. The Congress is an old party with a historical legacy where murmurs of resentment are more. There are many in the party who can change sides. This is the reason why murmurs are being felt. Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray should be prepared to tolerate such murmurs in the alliance, the Marathi Daily said. There are complaints about the bureaucracy, but however big an official may be, he is after all a government servant and has to obey orders of the Chief Minister. It's time for a short break. We'll join you in a short while.
Sabi up to different with the cooler number one. Ika chase ko more fun, unte cooler number one. Ika don't run from the sun, unte gangsta number one. Pehli nazar mein ho gaya deewana, deewana. इतना सुंदर जैसे कोई सपना सुहाना दीवाना दीवाना
कचारिया टाइल्स जो देखे वो दीवाना।
Welcome back to K News and thank you for watching. Let's continue the streak of news. The National Green Tribunal has slammed the Haryana government over unscientific dumping of garbage in Haryana's Sonipat district, saying nothing tangible has been done by the authorities. The NGT said there was a need to fix accountability as the matter has hanging fire for the last 20 years and concerned officers were unwilling to perform their duties. A bench headed by NGT chairperson Justice Adarsh Kumar Goel directed Haryana Chief Secretary to take steps to ensure compliance of Solid Waste Management Rules 2016. It also asked the officer to take steps for taking coercive measures against concerned officials for their failure. The tribunal took exception over the submission of Additional Chief Secretary of Urban Local Bodies Department that due to COVID-19, the compliance of the rules could not be ensured. It said the matter has been hanging fire for the last 20 years, while COVID-19 situation has emerged only now. Moreover, the statutory timelines have expired and earlier binding orders have attained finality. Nothing tangible is shown to have been done, giving rise for incompetence and unwilling of the concerned officers to perform their duties for which their accountability has to be fixed. The tribunal sought a report on the issue by August 25. The NGT had earlier has directed the Haryana government to install the waste to energy plant in Rohtak cluster before December 2021, calling the proposed timeline leisurely. It had noted that the waste to energy plant is proposed to be installed for towns falling in the Rohtak cluster by December 2021. The tribunal, however, had said such a leisurely timeline is not only in conflict with the rules but also at the cost of the environment. The Green Panel was hearing a plea filed by Haryana resident Jagdish Kumar, seeking restoration of a site where garbage was dumped as it was creating air pollution affecting public health. India received $51 billion in foreign investment in 2019 and was the world's ninth largest recipient of FDI in 2019, according to a report by the UN's trade body. The UN Conference on Trade and Development said in a report on Monday that a lower but positive economic growth in India in the post-COVID-19 pandemic period and India's large market will continue to attract market-seeking investments to the country. The World Investment Report 2020 by the UNCTAD said that India was the ninth largest recipient of FDI in 2019 with 51 billion inflows during the year, an increase from the $42 billion of FDI received in 2018 when India ranked 12 among the top 20 host economies in the world. In the developing Asia region, India was among the top 5 host economies for FDI. The report said that global FDI flows are forecast to decrease by up to 40% in 2020 from their 2019 value of $1.54 trillion. This would be for the first time since 2005 that global FDI falls below the $1 trillion mark. Foreign direct investment to developing economies in Asia hit hard by the economic downturn caused by the pandemic are projected to decline by up to 45% in 2020. In South Asia, FDI is also expected to contract sharply in 2020. In India, the biggest FDI host in the sub-region with more than 70% of inward stock, the number of greenfield investment announcements declined by 4% in the first quarter and merger and acquisitions contracted by 58. It added that the magnitude of the logistical challenges during both the lockdown and the recovery remain a big downside risk for FDI in the medium term of India. The digital economy and real estate and property development, two industries that attract growing FDI before the pandemic, could evolve in different directions. The report said, adding that the digital economy will likely to see continued investments. Real estate and property development will face significant pressures from slowing demand and financing constraints. The report noted that investors concluded deals worth over 650 million in the first quarter of 2020, mostly in the digital sector in India. Large deals in energy were also concluded, such as the acquisition by Total of Adani Gas valued at 800 million. FDI flows to South Asia increased by 10% to $57 billion in 2019. The growth driven largely by a rise in investment in India, which further relaxed investment barriers in mid 2019. The S&P BSE Sensex and NSE Nifty 50 indexes ended 1% higher in trade on Tuesday, powered by gains in HDFC Bank, HDFC, ICICI, Infosys, Kotak Mahindra and Tata Consultancy Services. The benchmarks stacked a gap up opening on positive global cues as risk appetite was bolstered by the formal start of the Federal Reserve's corporate bond buying program. However, the benchmarks came off highs wherein the Sensex dropped as much as 1069 points from the day's highest level, and the broader Nifty 50 benchmark touched an intraday low of 9728 after tensions between India and China escalated along the border in Ladakh. The Sensex ended 376 points or 1.13% higher at 33,605. The Nifty 50 index climbed 100 points or 1% to close at 9,914. The markets came off intraday highs after reports of rising tensions between India and China along the line of actual control in Ladakh. A.K. Prabhakar, head of the research at IDBI Capital, told over phone 7 of 11 sector gauges complied by the National Stock Exchange ended higher, led by the Nifty Financial Services nearly 3% gain. Nifty Bank, Private Bank, Metal and Media indexes also rose between 1 to 2%. On the other hand, Nifty PSU Bank index was top loser, down 1%. HDFC Bank was top Nifty gainer. The stock rose 4% to rupees 989. HDFC, ICICI Bank, JSW, Hindalco, Hero MotoCorp and Vedanta were also among the gainers. On the flip side, Tata Motors dropped 6% after the automaker reported a loss of rupees 9,894 crore in the March quarter against a profit of 1100 crore in the corresponding period last year. Bharti Infratel, IndusInd Bank, Tech Mahindra, Axis Bank, ITC, Bharti Airtel and Power Grid were also among the laggards. Great Wall Motors today announced the signing of Memorandum of Understanding with the Maharashtra government to invest in the state-of-the-art automotive manufacturing facility in Talegaon. The MOU was signed in the presence of the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, and Sun Wingdong, Chinese ambassador to India. The company will invest $1 billion in the Talegaon plant in a phased manner, and the facility will be equipped with the latest technology. The production plant, along with the R&D center in Bangalore, will generate employment for over 3,000 people in a phased manner. The investment will go into upgrading the current plant in Talegaon, which is currently fully functional and has all the infrastructure in place. The signing ceremony was done via virtual meeting between James Young, President, and Parker Shi, Managing Director of Indian subsidiary of GWM, along with Sun Wingdong, Chinese Ambassador, and the Minister of Industries, Government of Maharashtra, Subhash Desai, in the presence of the Chief Minister, officially announcing investment in Talegaon for a fully modernized and state-of-the-art manufacturing facility. Parker Shi, Managing Director of Indian subsidiary of GWM, said this would be a highly automated plant in Talegaon with advanced robotics technology integrated in many of the production processes. Overall, we are committed to 1 billion of investment in India in a phased manner, which is directed towards manufacturing world-class intelligent and premium products. R&D center, building supply chain, and providing jobs to over 3,000 people in a phased manner. Recently, in January this year, GWM had signed an agreement to acquire this plant from General Motors. The factory has facilities like logistic distribution center, training center, project management building, administrative office building, and public facilities center. Rahul Gandhi, in his tweets today targeting the ruling BJP, said the Gujarat model has been exposed, with the state recording the highest rate of coronavirus deaths in the country, almost double the national average. The Congress leader, who has targeted the government in almost daily posts over its handling of the virus crisis, had yesterday quoted Einstein to say the only thing more dangerous than ignorance is arrogance. COVID-19 mortality rate in Gujarat 6.25%, in Maharashtra 3.73%, in Rajasthan 2.32%, in Punjab 2.17%, in Pondicherry 1.98%, in Jharkhand 0.5%, in Chhattisgarh 0.35%. Gujarat model exposed. Post Mr. Gandhi sharing a BBC report analyzing the high rate of deaths in Gujarat, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's home state. Gujarat is the fourth worst hit state in India's coronavirus battle after Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Delhi, but its mortality rate, or the proportion of COVID-19 patients who have died, is the highest, more than double the national average of 2.86%. Over the past month, Gujarat has recorded an average of 400 new coronavirus cases every day. The state has 24,104 coronavirus cases, and the number of deaths has crossed 1,500, according to the Union Health Ministry. Chief Minister Vijay Rupani has denied rumors of a return to strict lockdown amid spiraling cases. More than 75% of the cases in Gujarat are from Ahmedabad, its largest city. In May, the Gujarat High Court called the civil hospital in Ahmedabad one of the largest in the country, handling COVID-19 cases a dungeon. As we said earlier, that the civil hospital is meant to treat the patients. However, it appears that as on date, it is as good as dungeon, maybe even worse than a dungeon. Unfortunately, the poor and helpless patients have no options, the High Court had said. That's all for now. Keep watching K News. This is Hardik Trivedi taking your leave. Be alert, be positive, be safe.